Hello, everybody. I am your host, Dr. F. Scott Field, and we have on the podcast today a wonderful guest, a mentor of mine, somebody I've been following for quite some time, and I've had the pleasure to learn from now most recently. Akbar Sheik. Akbar, how are you today?
Good, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. This is fun stuff for me because I've learned so much over the years, and it didn't come from school. So I'm hoping we can alert my audience into some of those things I've been able to learn and how I've been able to learn them. More importantly, why. So tell my audience a little bit about what it is that you do these days.
Now, I'm a business coach. I help entrepreneurs make more so they can give more to their families, communities, and favorite charities, hence making the world a better place.
Yeah, I think that's what mostly drew me to you was that, the make more to give more. I've always kind of been one that's been interested in charity, and my wife being a type 1 diabetic, we're very into the Juvenile Diabetic Research Foundation. So it was always one of those things that I kind of, I don't want to say that I was sold the lie, right? Where you just go to school, get the degree, get the best job you can, go to the best school you can. But that's kind of what it was always subliminally in the back of my mind, was that I had to, go to the best college, that I had to, get the degrees and the licenses and get the best possible job I could. And, I ended up graduating school with 2 doctoral degrees, one in physical therapy and one in education, and $140,000 worth of student loan debt to show for it. And then I got to that point and I was like, okay, well, that's great and all. And I'm proud of that. I worked really hard for that. But, if I'm going to start out as a new grad physical therapist making 65, 75, 85,000 a year, that's not a great debt to income ratio. So, how am I going to change this? How am I going to make my situation better? And for me, it came in the form of mentorship and learning from business coaches, much like yourself, and just realizing that the degrees didn't necessarily matter. It was how I leveraged those degrees, how I leveraged that knowledge, right? How I could help people. And I think you do a great job of kind of teaching a lot of that stuff. What was it that really drew you to the business world, and what really got you going as far as like, hey, I need to go out and do my own thing and start my own business?
And man, I mean, for me, I think it's just something I was just born with, in the sense that some people can do a job. I just cannot, I mean, someone, tells me what to do, when to do it, what time to come in, what time to leave. It just doesn't register with me. I'm just by nature big into freedom. And I've tried it before, and it's just a bad fit, right? I mean, I just stuck out. I don't understand. It's like, how do I explain, like, to give an analogy, right? It's basically like this. It's like trying to get a fish to live on land. It's just everyone on land is like, dude, what are you doing here? Like, you don't belong here. Go back in the ocean. Like, this is not for you. Do you know what I mean? I'm not equipped to um to have a job, and I don't mean that in like oh, I'm too cool for that and this and that. I just mean like literally, I just honestly can't do it.
Yeah,
Um,
habitually unemployable, right? in,
yeah,
in the best way possible.
yeah, and that's just the way it is.
Well, and again, this isn't a blanket statement, but there's a lot of very successful entrepreneurs that have gone on to make millions and billions even of dollars that did not go to school or dropped out or, you know,
Yeah,
didn't do great in school, weren't A students, right? Were B
yeah,
and C students,
yeah.
you
I mean,
know?
I was never that great in school. I have, I never been diagnosed, but I probably have ADHD. Um, never did well. I never did that well in school. I was in a lot of there was different types of classes that I don't know what the system is now, but it's like, I forget what it's called, but there's like, if you're taking English, for example, it's like advanced, uh I forget what they called it, but it was like advanced and regular, and then like core. And core was like, quote unquote, like the dumb kids. That's a slang word, right? And I was in some core classes for sure. And I was in a couple of regular classes. I was not in none of the advanced classes. I forget what they call it, but um, math, I was in core. English, I never did good at. Um, science, I never did good at. Um, you know, marketing, I did well in, and economics, I did well in, and business, I did well in. But There's a lot of things I did poorly. It's funny. My brother and I were joking recently, right? Because he actually dropped out of school, and he's actually much more successful than I am. And we would joke because like my parents are my parents are traditional. They were like, you can't drop out. No one's gonna marry you. And well, like you said, they don't all these ladies. And I mean, again, not a blanket statement. I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but all these ladies now, they couldn't care less about the degree. They see the car, they see the plane, they see the boat, the boat, giving, the lifestyle. They're like, oh yeah, no, let's hang out. You know what I mean? Meaning
Yeah.
like, they're lining up to get married. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
And none of them are asking now, where did you go to school?
Yep.
Because they know he didn't go to school.
Yep. Well, let's touch on that a little bit because I think, even going back to high school, right? I remember my business class pretty vividly, and it was how to balance a checkbook and supply and demand. That's about all we learned. That was it for business. And it took me until even beyond grad school to start learning the ins and outs of business, and we're not really taught business and marketing in PT school. I think chiropractors get it a little bit in their programs, but we definitely don't as physical therapists, right? Why do you think that is? Why do you think schools are significantly behind the times when it comes to teaching business and marketing and skills like selling that we may need in real life?
You know, if you're going to become an entrepreneur, like if you're going to become a doctor or an engineer or whatever, or like, I don't know, a lawyer or whatever, like you have to go to school. You don't have a choice. You can't self-teach surgery. You can't self-teach law. I mean, you can, but the state won't recognize you. So you can't practice law or medicine legally. You have to go to school. You have no choice. In business, now this is a very interesting question. Look, I did go to college for 4 years. I got a degree in business. What are my honest thoughts about it? And I take this very seriously because I mean, it's a very heavy thing. We're talking about years of people's lives. We're talking about a lot of money. Look, I want to say it with a grain of salt because in truth, I don't have the world's greatest memory, but I don't, I'm not one of these guys who's so like anti-school, but I don't recall how college helped me in business. If I'm going to be completely honest, what I think lacks is exactly what we're discussing, and that's like mentorship, and that is like a little bit of hands-on experience. That's a little bit of, you know, it would be cool if the entire business school was structured in like teams where it's like, okay, this team is not, you're now going to work. Like we had a guy, he was I don't want to say celebrity, but he was like a local business, had a popular bicycle store, very popular bicycle store, did very well every year, grew. And he, I think one of the top bicycle shops in America. Okay. This is in Connecticut. It'd be cool if like groups of people would actually work for these organizations and get trained and make mistakes. Why I think it's mine, I think it's a logistical nightmare. I think it's like really difficult to put together. You have to find like a lot, it's not easy to put together. I think they're just taking the easier, more traditional way, just bury your head in the textbook. And not to say that books are not really important, right? I mean, like I honestly think that books are, first of all, you want to talk about education. I'm very pro education, meaning that I read books. YouTube videos are extremely informative. I read, but then when I go back to the textbooks in school, it's I don't recall. I put it to you this way, and this I suppose this might have some weight to it. I don't remember any of it. I really don't remember any of it. I really don't. I don't remember any of it. All 4 years, I can't really tell you much at all.
Yeah, I think, that goes, for us too. We still have to look stuff up, right? Luckily, we're in the age of Google where we can do that, right? I have a ton of students that I teach nowadays that, use YouTube University, if you will, for physical therapy things and things that they're
Wow.
trying to learn along the way. And I support that. Whatever's going to make it stick, whatever's going to help you learn it. There's more
My
than one ways to skin a cat.
Listen,
So
my wife is pregnant, is expecting, and we watched YouTube videos on like how to have an easier delivery and like, things like that. And then we hired like a certified doula. She came to us and talked to us. She's like talking to us. And I'm like, dude, we already know all this stuff because we learned about it on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So she went to some sort of school or whatever. And we're like, dude, we know all this. We learned it off of YouTube. You know what I mean? And I never want to say like, oh, we know it all. You never want to have that attitude. But what I mean to say is we really like, wow, we didn't really learn anything new here.
Yeah.
Um,
You felt well educated and prepared because you
yeah,
did your homework.
yeah, we did actually.
Yeah. It's funny. I think about it too. When I was an undergrad, a lot of the business majors at the time, I was an English major, so it didn't really, correlate with me then. But a lot of the business majors were saying how, it doesn't really make sense because the best business professors in the world aren't teaching business at a university. It just doesn't make sense from a financial standpoint, right?
Right.
It's like, why take a professor's job? It's 55, 65,000 a year, even upwards of 80 to 90,000 a year, right? Six figures even, right? If you're going to start your own business and actually do it, you can be much more profitable doing that in the entrepreneurial world than if you were to go there and teach business. So, it's a little bit watered down in that you may not be getting the best possible teachers in the world, but I like the apprenticeship model that you talk about where, hey, send these groups out there into the real world, let them work on some real world projects and get some
Well, that's where I
experience.
learned, you see, it's got to be the right environment too. Because my dad had like a dollar store and like a furniture store. And like, yeah, I would go there and I learned stuff. Don't get me wrong. I definitely learned stuff, but it wasn't the environment that I liked. Right. Um, so I didn't flourish because it wasn't the right environment for me. But like, yeah, dude, just like getting your hands on it and getting the hands on apprenticeship. Like, put it to you this way: people who worked for my dad, a lot of them left and then like went on to bigger, better things. They opened up their own businesses because they learned so much in it. So I think that's what the model should be like. Put it to this way: like if my kids want to go to business, you can go to college if you want, but I don't. I'm probably not going to pay for it, and that says a lot for me because honestly, I don't really care about money, and I'm not. I wish I was frugal. Unfortunately, I'm not. And I'm not frugal, I'm not cheap, and I'm a pretty free spender to be honest with you. But no, dude, if you want to be in business and you want to go to school, great. But I mean, number one, honestly, I'd say put it to this way, and no disrespect to anybody, but if you're not smart enough to get a scholarship, because dude, there's and there's like I forget the number, but it's like insane. It's like I want to say billions of dollars of untapped money every single year in scholarship funds. There's endless scholarship funds. You have to like apply to them. And it's like you have to do a lot of paperwork and stuff. But dude, there's so much money if people are willing to pay for your college if you're good at anything. I mean, I forget what it was, a 20% scholarship one year or whatever it was. Again, it was a while ago. I don't remember, but I got some partial scholarship for the simple fact that I was a quote unquote minority going to a majority Caucasian school. I think it was like 90, I was like in Connecticut, it was like 98, 99% Caucasian. Yeah, actually it was. It was like 99% Caucasian. So like, dude, we need some color in this school. Let's give people some money. Let's give some colored folks some money to come to this school.
Yeah.
And so they gave me a little bit. But that was just for my skin color. I mean, they give scholarships for anything. So number one, if you're not smart enough to get some sort of scholarship, I mean, like, do you even deserve to like maybe take a break, maybe self-educate yourself a little bit or something? And number two is like, dude, you're not gonna learn how to run a business in business school. You're just not, in my experience. And I'm very open to being wrong about that. I'm just saying in my experience. Um, so I'm not a big advocate of that. Like I said, you want to be a lawyer or whatever, you have no choice. You got to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's kind of the issue that I kind of ran into there was, for physical therapy, you have to pass your board exam, you have to get
Yeah.
licensed, and so I did that. But there was still, even after I finished my educational doctorate and I could now teach as well, there was still that moment of time where I was like a little bit nervous and a little bit like, did I make the right choice here? Like, that's a lot of student loan debt. I don't know if this is really what I want to do. Like, and again, it all just came down to reframing my mindset and talking to mentors actually, and learning that it's all about how you leverage those degrees and how you leverage your knowledge and how you can connect your knowledge and your past and everything you learned and all your skill sets, point A to point B, which is just a need out there somewhere in, the community where they need an answer or they need a solution, and you can connect those dots, then you've got a business that can be profitable, right? And so once it I reframed that thought of just leveraging the degrees and my skill sets into whatever I enjoyed, and put me in the right mindset and the right setting, if you will. Only then was I kind of able to flourish and really start building things up. But I wanted to talk a little bit about mentorship. I personally was saved by mentorship, really, because like I said, I was going down a deep dark tunnel of, did I make the right decision? I don't know why I blew all this money. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And again, 3 or 4 different mentors that I had in both healthcare and business were able to kind of show me that, again, it is going to be okay. And I feel like there's several reasons that people can and should follow mentorship and seek out mentorship. What's your kind of outtake on that? And what are some of the reasons that you see people pursue mentorship, especially paid mentorship?
Sorry, Scott, you broke up on me. What would you say?
Yeah, just what are some of the reasons that you see that people pursue mentorship, especially paid mentorship?
Yeah. I mean, listen, success leaves clues, right? I mean, it goes beyond, just a business scope too, right? I mean, look, you can go Google this. Oprah, Leonardo DiCaprio, Super Bowl MVPs, the CEO of Google. All these guys give a lot of credit to their mentors and coaches for their success. Successful people, for the most part, all have mentors and coaches, because it is the shortcut. It is, you're going to get a lot further. For example, like right now, I run a successful coaching business, right? It's a 7-figure coaching business. And let's just say somebody comes in here and they want to start a coaching business now, and their coaching business is very new. Well, dude, I've spent years, blood, sweat, tears, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I've spent a lot of time and money figuring out what works and what doesn't work. So you can go through that same path that I did, or you can talk to me and I can save you some time and money. You know what I mean? I mean, that's in essence how mentoring works. And that's one of my favorite parts about it um, is that shortcut ability, right? It's just that clarity, because the truth of the matter is, man, winners win, right? So most people, if you're a quote unquote winner, and I'm not calling anyone a loser, but I just mean, like, if you're in a position, if you're in that part of your journey where you start winning and everyone can get there if they want to, you're going to win with or without a mentor. But with a mentor, you're just going to do it quicker and easier. Easy, simple. That's the equation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it depends. How quickly do you want to do things? And
I think,
how much pain do you want to go through?
yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. You're speeding up your timeline for sure.
Yeah.
You're trying to avoid some of the costly mistakes they made, and just speeding up your timeline, because you're still going to make mistakes,
Yeah. And by the way, like, it has to be the right mentor too. Like, I'll be honest with you, I have a mentor now, and to be honest with you, he's a great guy. Wrong fit for me. By the way, spent a lot of money, didn't work. Why? It's just the wrong fit. And by the way, not to his fault at all, but what I wanted to do when I joined and what I want to do now are 2 totally different things. So it didn't pan out, and we're talking a solid 5-figure investment, by the way. Complete loss. But that you're not going to meet anyone who's not going to have those stories. You're not going to meet anyone.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, Akbar, thank you so much for your time and for coming on, just to kind of teach people a little about what they can and can't learn in normal educational systems. And, maybe some of the ideas we have can, start a little bit of change within those systems. I know I've started trying to teach to my students a little bit about business and leverage, and, just knowing what they can do with their degrees and their skill sets. But where can people find you if they want to reach out and learn a little bit more about your coaching and mentoring and what you're up to these days?
Well, in marketing school, they'll tell you to come up with an easy name, and we never really got around to do that. So my website is one that no one can spell or pronounce, but it's just my name, akbarsheik.com. It's working. I'll tell you that much.
That's all that matters, right? Is it working?
So yeah, that's what it is.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much. I'll put the link for that in the show notes, just so everyone can find you nice and easy. I'll put your Instagram channel up there as well, so everybody can link up. Absolute pleasure talking with you, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Likewise. Take care, y'all. Peace.